October 2017. A quiet apartment in Zama, Kanagawa, Japan. Neighbors complained of a strange smell, something foul, like rotting meat. Police arrived, and what they found inside would shock not just Japan, but the entire world. Inside, they discovered 9 dismembered bodies stuffed into cooler boxes and storage containers. This wasn't the work of a criminal mastermind, or some shadowy underworld hitman. This was the work of a young man with a twisted smile, a man who prowled Twitter, searching for vulnerable souls. His name? Takahiro Shiraishi. But how did a 27-year-old man go from a so-called creepy scout in Tokyo's red light district, to becoming one of Japan's most notorious serial killers, nicknamed the Twitter Killer? Today, we unravel the chilling case of Takahiro Shiraishi, his life, his crimes, his trial, and his final fate. Stick around, this story is disturbing, bizarre, and yes, even has moments that will leave you shaking your head in disbelief. Shiraishi was born in Tokyo on October 9, 1990. On the surface, his early life wasn't particularly extraordinary. No obvious signs of violence, no raised by wolves backstory. If anything, he seemed like just another quiet kid in a bustling city of millions. But as he grew older, people began to notice something about him. He wasn't exactly normal. Friends recalled he had a weird fascination with choking games, you know, that dangerous thing some teens do, where they cut off oxygen just to get a head rush. Creepy, right? Well, for Shiraishi, it wasn't just teenage stupidity. It was foreshadowing. By his 20s, Shiraishi found work in Kabukicho, Tokyo's biggest red light district. He wasn't a bartender, not a bouncer, no, Shiraishi was a scout. What does that mean? Essentially, he lured women into brothels and sex work. Scouts roamed the streets, promising girls big money, glamour, or even fake modeling gigs. But Shiraishi's reputation? Let's just say people literally warned others to stay away from him. Locals described him as a creepy scout. And if your nickname in Kabukicho, a place full of hustlers and shady characters, is creepy, that's saying a lot. Fast forward to August 2017. Shiraishi suddenly moves into a tiny apartment in Zama, a quiet suburban city in Kanagawa Prefecture. The neighbors didn't know it yet, but that modest little unit would become Japan's very own house of horrors. Here's where things get darker. Shiraishi discovered the perfect hunting ground, Twitter. But he wasn't tweeting about anime or food pics. Instead, he lurked in the darkest corners of the platform, searching for people posting about suicide. Vulnerable souls, crying out online, wishing for someone to hear them. His messages were twisted, yet deceptively kind. If you want to die, come to me. I can help you. Or if you don't want to die alone, I'll die with you. Creepy, right? But also clever in the most evil way. He was exploiting the loneliness of people at their lowest point. And it worked. Women began responding. They thought they were meeting someone who understood their pain. Instead, they were walking straight into the trap. Over the next 2 months, one by one, his victims came. 8 women. 1 man. Ages ranging from just 15 years old to 26. Once inside his apartment, the truth emerged. Shiraishi would strangle them. Sometimes after sex, sometimes before. He admitted his motives, sex and money. He would rob them, sometimes even assault them post-mortem. And in a grotesque twist, he dismembered them. Heads, arms, legs, stored in coolers, boxes, even throwing bits away in the trash like it was nothing. It's hard to imagine, right? A man living in a tiny apartment with the remains of 9 people stacked inside. And all the while, neighbors were smelling something rotten. But hey, maybe they thought it was bad garbage. Little did they know, death was right next door. Everything unraveled on October 24, 2017. A young woman went missing. But her brother wasn't about to sit back. He started his own investigation, digging through her social media, retracing her last steps. And guess what? All signs pointed to Shiraishi. With the help of a woman known only as Yumi, they devised a trap. Yumi contacted Shiraishi, pretending to be suicidal, setting up a meeting. The police got involved. On October 30th, authorities arrived at his Zama apartment. They asked him directly, "Where is she?" Shiraishi didn't flinch. He calmly told them, "She's in the freezer." The police opened the apartment, and were hit with the stench of death. Inside were cooler boxes and containers. Heads. Legs. Arms. 9 people in pieces. Neighbors later admitted they had smelled something, but never imagined this. One said, "I thought it was just garbage." Well, technically, he did put some in the garbage. Authorities discovered he had tossed certain remains into bins, later hauled off with the recycling. When questioned, Shiraishi confessed without hesitation. He admitted to killing 9 people. 8 women and 1 man. His motives? He was blunt: sex and money. He raped some victims. He robbed others. The only man he killed was searching for one of the women Shiraishi had already murdered. He also revealed that before the murders, he told his own father his life had no meaning. Dark foreshadowing, almost like a villain monologue. At this point, Shiraishi wasn't even pretending to be innocent. He seemed almost relieved to talk about it. You know, most people lie to police. Say things like, "I don't know what you're talking about," or, "It wasn't me." Not Shiraishi. Nope. He basically said, "Yeah, I did it. And by the way, check the freezer." The trial became national news. His lawyers wanted to argue something bizarre, that since some of his victims had expressed suicidal thoughts, they had consented to being killed. Yeah, nice try. But the law doesn't exactly let you strangle someone just because they're sad on Twitter. On October 1, 2020, Shiraishi pled guilty. No games, no elaborate defense. Just straight up, guilty. On December 15, 2020, he was sentenced to death. Hanging. A punishment Japan still carries out. He didn't appeal. No second chances. By January 2021, his sentence was finalized. And then, years later, on June 27, 2025, Takahiro Shiraishi was executed. Hung until dead at the Tokyo detention house. And just like that, the Twitter killer was gone. The case of Takahiro Shiraishi left Japan shaken. The idea that someone could use social media to prey on suicidal people was horrifying. It sparked debates about mental health, online safety, and even Japan's death penalty system. Neighbors were left haunted, remembering the strange smells, the quiet man next door, and wishing they had spoken up sooner. And yet, the most chilling part of all? How ordinary Shiraishi looked. Not a monster from a horror movie. Just a man in his 20s with a Twitter account and a smile. So, what's the lesson here? Maybe it's this: if a random guy on Twitter invites you over to help you die, maybe, just maybe, don't go. This was the story of Takahiro Shiraishi, the Twitter killer of Japan. A chilling reminder of how darkness can lurk in the unlikeliest places. If you found this case as disturbing as we did, make sure to hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more true crime stories from around the world. Stay safe out there, and watch who you follow online.